All right, we have a subdivision exercise here, and it's going to use quarter notes, eighth notes, and 16th notes. So a measure of quarters, a measure of eighths, and then a measure of 16ths. The only thing that's going to change could be the tempo and the pattern. So you can start at a lower tempo and bring it up as you get more comfortable with it. And then also as you get more comfortable, things you can tweak are is the pattern. So we're going to start with an alternating pattern of right, left, and then we'll hop into a different pattern. We're going to use, the second pattern we're going to use is right, lefts, just double them. And then I'll talk to you about how the bounce stroke comes into play for this. So the exercise itself is really simple. Like I said, a measure of quarters, a measure of eighths, and a measure of 16ths so we can start to feel the subdivision. Play through that one with me. We're going to start with an alternating pattern, right, left. Everything's going to alternate. If you just struck with the left, your next one's going to be the right, and vice versa. 1, 2, 3, 4. Quarters and eighths and 16ths. We're counting these as 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and a 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. All right, great job. So do that. Let's switch it now and do the doubling now of the right, left. Let's do the same exact exercise, same tempo, different pattern. Here we go. And we're going to have right, left, right, left, right, left. Right, left, right, left. One more time. All right, great job. By the time you get to your 16th notes, 1 E and a 2 E and, by the time you get to that, if you're on the doubling pattern, you're gonna maybe find that doing 2 separate strikes like that starts to make you get tired, in which case I would switch over to using a bounce stroke. So if you can just focus in closely on my hand while I demonstrate the difference between 2 separate strokes, where I strike, I'm striking, lifting, raising, and throwing it back down twice. You can see my wrist clearly going twice. Now watch, I'm going to do it as a bounce stroke. I only moved once, and the stick moved twice. That's the difference. So, or you'll notice the second one's quieter. The bounce stroke is a little bit softer because I'm not whipping it. When we strike, we kind of use like a whip motion. You're lifting, you're dropping the stick, lifting, and kind of whipping it down. When you bounce, that second strike, it's impossible to whip that. That's not what we're doing. It's the stick is doing the work, not us. Okay. So let the stick do the work, and then practice it with your left hand. And what you're doing is throwing once, letting the stick bounce, and catching it. So throwing once, bounce, catch. throw once, bounce, catch. It's not two different wrist motions. It's only one wrist motion, 2 hits worth. Here you can see what it looks like on that side where we're just dropping the hand and then the stick does all the rest of the work. So you're kind of picking up and whipping it and leaving it there for the stick to bounce. The more you get good at this, the more pressure you can lay into the front of the stick, using that thumb and index finger too, and you can really get a fast bounce. So that's part of your work on this as well, is to practice the slow bounce in the context of the 16th notes, right? And then start to drive up the tempo. So now we're going to do the exercise at 100, and you can see how those bounce strokes really, really help you out. Here we go, quarters, and so as you can see at 100, if I had to play that would stress me out. If I had to play each individual, if I had to use 2 wrist strikes on that. Can I do it? Yeah. Does it sound terrible? Yeah. Is it stressful? Yes. So rather than forcing like every single one, much more relaxed, much more even. I'll do one more at 100 with the non-doubling. We'll go back to the alternate just so you can have a version of that at 100 as well. 1, 2, alternating and. So we got quarters, and an 8th notes, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4. Quarter, and 8ths and 16ths. Okay, awesome. That's it. Enjoy Subdivision.